Howdy, folks. Well, there are two common expressions at play in this table full of rocks you see before you. The first one is, there's no need to reinvent the wheel, son. We've already done it. It's there. Just ride your bike or in your car or whatever. The second is, sometimes it's good to challenge conventional wisdom because sometimes conventional wisdom is not right. Challenge the narrative, or question the narrative, I guess, would also come into play. What you see before you is most of a 5-pound bag of flower agate that I purchased from the Rock Shed. Upon receiving it and looking through it briefly, I noted that there wasn't a lot of actual agate look to it. I mean, there are some stripy bands here and there. A lot of it appears more to be like this, which is just kind of a reddish tinted chalcedony. Whoops, and I dropped that one. So, what we're going to do here, and what we're challenging or questioning or testing, I guess we could call this some science, is I have received comments wondering why I don't sometimes run these longer for 2 to 3 weeks without changing the grit. Well, sometimes I wonder that myself. The reason being is that most conventional wisdom says that, you get 5, 7, or 10 days is bandied about a lot. From what I've been able to gather, after about 7 to 10 days, that grit is pretty well played out. But I don't know that. I know what I feel when I pull it out, but I don't know, well, maybe if I had just let that thing go for X number of days, would we have better results at this point? So, something else you'll notice about this material is it's fairly uniform in size. There's some smaller stuff. There's a small bag that I set aside for several reasons. Some was because the piece was mostly a piece of crusty host rock. There wasn't much agate or chalcedony to it. Second was they were very tiny. Didn't think they'd add a lot to the party, so to speak. So what we're left with is, again, reasonably uniform pieces. What I'm going to do is I'm going to load one barrel. I'm going to load the other barrel. The first barrel I'm going to run for 10 days, which is about what I've been going for now with harder material. And then I'm going to dump it, drain it, check it, and more likely than not, I will end up recharging it with new grit and sending it on its way for another 10 days. The other barrel I'm just going to let go. So one barrel is going to run for 10, get checked and recharged. The other barrel is just going to go all the way through the 20 days, no change, no grit addition or anything like that. And what I suspect we will find is, yes, the barrel that ran for 20 days has progress showing. I also suspect that the one that was recharged midway through that 20 days will show more progress, but I don't know that. So, I'm going to keep an open mind. What I'm going to do is when I load these, I'm going to load them by volume, and then I'm going to try to match them weight-wise, although I'm not entirely sure that that's going to be a huge factor. I'm more looking for, at the end of the 20-day period, which batch looks smoother and rounder and more ready to go on. And neither one may. I mean, this is agate, so it may take several tries at this, but I'm hoping in this 20-day period we can either prove or disprove that stopping charging, recharging, and or letting run all the way through, which one's the more beneficial. So let me get these loaded up and I'll be right back. Alright peeps, I've got these things loaded up. What I did was, sorry for the angle, this camera is not great, but I started on this end of the table and worked my way this way. Hopefully you noticed that the back rows were bigger and the sizes kind of descended as it went away from the camera. Put these barrels on each corner and then just grab 2 from each side. Blunk, 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 blunk. Went towards the middle. I did a couple rows, a couple of the back rows. And then I jumped ahead a few rows because I kind of had them ranked by size, like I said, descending. So in order to get somewhat of a balanced load, then I started working on a couple of the smaller rows. Barrel gauge, they're both just about exactly the same. This one weighs 2.3 ounces. This one weighs 2.31 ounces. So I'm going to just go ahead and say I did pretty darn good there. And we're going to leave it at that. I'm not going to try to muck around with that 0.1 ounce. So I don't think it'll matter that much. Like I said, I believe in this test. I'm hoping that the appearance will be the tell, if that makes sense. So, and I'm going to load both the barrels with the exact same amount of grit, which will be probably 3 to 4 tablespoons, probably 3.5, something like that. And the same amount of water. And then we're going to get them going on the tumbler, and we will see you nice folks in probably about 20 days. Well, actually, I'll do an update at 10 when I dump the barrel for 10 days. I'll do an update then, just, a quick one, show you what the progress is. But other than that, we won't really know anything for about 20 days. So I thank you for watching, folks.